And here we are. How's everybody doing? See what I mean? Well, you can't see my desk actually, but I was just saying to people in the lobby, in the join-in holding area, that I've tidied up my entire office. And well, although my bookshelf behind me doesn't look that tidy, but the desk is lovely and clean. I've got like everything organised. My inbox here, my tray is like completely organised. Bobby, good evening as well on Periscope. It's amazing. I think like I'm definitely one of these clean environment kind of like clean. I say clean mind, but I don't mean I've got a dirty mind. Just mean like I can operate much more efficiently. Claire Murphy is here as well. She's been for a run. She says, awesome, Claire. Running is like a big part of my life. Honestly, on a Sunday, do a half marathon every Sunday. I didn't start off that way. I'm not like saying that to go, oh, look at me. I started off just running like a mile. I couldn't even run for 5 minutes when I first started back in 2010. Now, massive part of my life. I love a run to clear the mind again. Another thing that's really going to help get clarity on stuff. Alex is here as well. She says, I don't always tidy my room, but when I do, it takes me all bleeding day. Alex, because you need to do it more regular. I'm pretty regular, but sometimes like if I've got a busy week, it's not that I put it off, just more stuff mounts up basically. I end up with just so much crap just lying around and paperwork and invoices and stuff. Because I obviously, I have a shed load of invoices for atsonthis.tv. The website runs on about 47 pieces of software, most of which I have to pay for every single month. So I've got so many invoices to process on a weekly basis. It's insane. Caroline says, me and hoovering. Caroline loves a good hoover. Definitely. And Dawn saying I should do the Great North Run in September. Maybe it will, Dawn. Maybe. It's very hilly though, isn't it, apparently? It's very up and down, but it'd be a good challenge. Talking about challenges, nice segue into tonight's book club. So for those who are watching for the first time, because again, you might have just seen my email that I sent out to the That's on This TV list. You might be here for the first time. Thank you so much for joining me. If that is you and you are here for the first time, please leave a comment or leave a on Periscope or on Twitter or on Facebook, so I can give you a shout out. I do 2 broadcasts a week, one on a Monday night. So we had one just on Monday, just gone at 9 p.m. UK time. We call it Motivation and Mind Hacks, and it's exactly that. It's something that's going to help keep you motivated. It's going to hack your mind, going to help you get further in your career faster and your life, just in general. And then on a Wednesday night, which is tonight, we do a book club, and we're looking at a book this month by a guy called Sean Stephenson. In fact, let me just put up a little picture of Sean. Do you know what I just realised? Didn't put a microphone on for that picture, did I? I've just been talking and I didn't put the microphone on for that picture. That was Sean, by the way. So the sound hasn't gone. People are saying there's a sound gone. Thanks for reminding me of that. I didn't turn the microphone on. Yeah, that was Sean. I was just saying to those who didn't hear, those on the audio experience will hear this twice, but Sean was born with brittle bones. He had nearly every bone in his body broken when he was born. In his own words, he said he was effectively born a bag of broken bones. Most of the doctors said that he wasn't going to live very long. He would have a very short life expectancy. But to fast forward 38 years, I'm pretty sure he's 38 now. He is alive. Most of the doctors who said he wasn't going to be alive are now dead. And Sean himself is a doctor, not of medicine or anything like that, but he's a doctor of psychology. He's got an insane amount of qualifications in psychology, and he's written this book that we're looking at tonight, and it's called Get Off Your Butt. We read and kind of like an overview of it last week, and one of the first chapters. Now we're going to jump through to which is kind of like one of the chapters towards the end of the book, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, because I've been talking about it to the actors who I'm taking through the Bulletproof Actor program that I run once a year at the moment. And we're talking, in that group, we've got a live call tomorrow night, but in last week's live call, we were talking about some external factors in your life that create internal symptoms inside you that can really screw you up. And one of those external factors was who you hang out with, effectively, your friends, your associates, who you spend time with, and whether these people charge you, whether these people drain you, whether these people break you, sabotage you, or whether they inspire you, build you up, and effectively call you out on your own bullshit, which I think what a great friend should do. Danielle, great to see you on Facebook. I think and we're going to listen to that now when I read this book. Real good friends don't let you indulge in like self-pity and all this bollocks, and like, oh, it's fine to feel like shit all the time. No, it's not. A real friend is like, right, come on, let's do something about this, and it's going to help you get out of that. So that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. Let's have a look. Don't worry about me, I'm from Swansea, says Caroline. I don't know what that was referring to, but don't worry about being from Swansea. It's fine. Also, I wanted to read a little bit about on the back of this book, because Susan Jeffers, remember this book we looked at? Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, an amazing book. Susan Jeffers wrote this. You should all get that. We did it on the book club a couple of months ago. She's written a little thing on the back, and she says, Sean Stephenson is a hero to me. When you read his book, he will be a hero to you as well. His moving stories about himself and others who have found the gifts in their pain will teach you so much about courage. And just as important, you will learn how to build your own sense of confidence when it comes to health, career, relationships, and more. Do yourself a favour, read this book. So don't just take it from me when I recommend a book. Susan Jeffers, pretty much a bit of a legend in personal development. She says read the book. Laura Hannah says, I'm here, 11 p.m. in Athens. Calling in from, well, not calling in, it's not a phone show, but watching from Athens. Amazing. Well, thank you for staying up and checking this out. Let's dive in then, so you don't have to stay up too late, Laura. But this is lesson 5 in Sean's book, and it says, choose your friends wisely, okay? It says, by the time he was 21, Gary Cox had been through a mind-boggling series of tragedies. His father was murdered, his wife told him his baby wasn't really his, and he'd built and lost a $100,000 a year business. Now he's a wildly successful multimillionaire, a speaker and personal growth coach who owns private jets and helicopters. And I was a kid just out of college looking for some pointers from a master. I couldn't even believe he had finally agreed to talk with me on the phone. He's put finally there, which means he obviously didn't get that offer straight away, guys. So many people just give up when they want to talk to someone and they go no. He obviously didn't. Sean's a bit different. So when he finally agreed to talk to me on the phone, I never would have thought in 1,000 years that this conversation would change the way I looked at my friends forever. So I want you to look at your friends tonight as we're going through this, and we'll do some exercises towards the end of this that are going to help you kind of assess where you're at with this, okay? So he said it all began with an innocent question. Gary, I asked, if you had the opportunity to share only one piece of advice with someone on how to succeed, what would you tell them? Only one piece, he said. Okay, here it is. Be careful who you complain to. Be careful who you complain to. What the heck was he talking about? Complain to? How does complaining and success even come into the same equation? Fortunately, he clued me in. Shawnee explained, a real friend is someone you call when you're having a bad day. Think about it. Do you call your obnoxious neighbour, your boss, or your enemy on a bad day? No. You call your friend. I'm sure we've all done that. Who's been like, right, I've just got to call up one of my mates. This has gone a bit shit. Let me know who your friend is like that. I'll give him a shout out on here. So he says, I couldn't argue with that. So he continued, what type of response would a real friend have to your complaints? He didn't wait for me to answer. Here's my rule of thumb, he said. A good quality friend won't join in with you. Okay, they will either help you fix the issue or help you let go of the negativity that you're tangled up in. Whoa, I'd never really thought about it before, but he was so right. If you complain to a friend and she or he joins in with you, she stirs up your anger or sadness and actually makes your situation worse. I've seen so many people get off their butts and make huge strides in their health, wealth, and relationships, only to be shot down and torn apart by their, in inverted commas, friends. Soon they begin to link progress and growth to the sensation of pain and retreat to their butts. This is the kind of power our friends hold over us. Sean, said Gary, the people we hang out with have a tremendous impact on our lives, more than you've considered. And we've spoken about this on quite a few Periscopes and a few Facebook Live broadcasts and that kind of stuff. But what I like, and what we're going to hear about now, is how Sean actually he phrases this in an analogy that I think everybody's really going to get. Alan's here on Facebook as well. Alan, good evening. So he says, after I got off the phone, Gary's words stayed with me. I began to notice more and more how profoundly the quality and course of our lives are influenced by the people we choose to call our friends. Okay? So he says, how we become our friends. Right about now, you may be thinking, Sean, that's ridiculous. Maybe it's true for some people, but I don't cave to peer pressure. I hear this all the time. Oh, it doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. Bullshit. That's just an excuse. This all applies to everybody. So you might be saying, I don't cave into peer pressure. Sure, maybe when I was a kid, but I'm an adult now. I do what I want. I used to think the same thing until I began doing some research and paying attention to my life. And that of others. What I discovered shocked me. In fact, we become exactly like those we hang out with most. Think about it. Just as a goldfish swimming in a tank of diseased water inevitably becomes sick, a human hanging out in a toxic peer group eventually becomes toxic. When you place yourself in an environment, you eventually become the environment. It's inevitable. The right group of companions can be the greatest asset to your success and well-being. I couldn't agree with this more, guys. I'll tell you my experience of this soon. Can be the greatest asset to your success and well-being. The wrong group, however, can tear your life to pieces and send you careering off a cliff. I can't overstress the importance of this understanding. The truth is, if you take action on all the other lessons in this book, but overlook this one, everything you've achieved will eventually be undermined. So we're going to look at his analogy that I love of this entire thing about your mates. Okay, this is how Sean puts it. He says the pit crew theory. This is Sean's pit crew theory of friendship. Let me explain more. One evening, he says, I was sprawled out on my hotel bed, flipping through the TV channels, trying to find some mildly entertaining background noise as I prepared for a speech the next morning. I couldn't find anything, so I hit the mute button and went back to concentrating on my speech. After about an hour or so, I looked back up at the TV. I was about to hit the power button to turn it off when the TV suddenly spoke to me. It said, Sean, don't turn me off. Okay, fine. It didn't actually speak to me, yet the program that was on seemed to speak directly to the concepts I was working on. I started paying attention. The show was all about high-performance auto racing. I watched mesmerised as the cars zipped around and around the track at speeds nearing 200 miles per hour. At some point, each car had to pull off the track while the driver waited behind the wheel. A team of mechanics and technicians streamed around it, changing tyres, checking fluid levels, and generally doing everything that needed to be done to get the car and driver back on the track at optimal effectiveness. Wait a minute, there was something there. If I could only figure it out. Eureka, he says. I'd been searching for a metaphor to help me convey the idea I'd learned from Gary, that the people with whom you surround yourself determine how far you go in life. I'd already discarded some overused and not quite right analogies. Birds of a feather flock together was one that he'd discounted. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. When you lay down with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Now, thanks to this hotel television, I discovered an original metaphor that made the idea crystal clear. The pit crew. This is what I love. These multi-million-dollar race cars had pretty impressive pit crews. But what if the pit crews didn't have the car's best interests in mind? I began to imagine a different scenario. The mechanic designated to change the tyres comes moseying out to the car empty-handed and tells the driver, sorry, but he's used the new tyres for his own car. I call this taker behaviour. That's the first person in your pit crew you've got to look out for, the takers, okay? Because you will have some. If you're completely honest, you've probably got people that you're surrounded with now who take, and they're quite happy to do that, and they don't really give anything. Second guy, then there's the guy who's supposed to refuel the car. He walks over to the gas tank and pokes holes in it, causing every remaining drop of fuel to leak out. I call this drainer behaviour. And in Bulletproof Actor, we talk about battery drainers. That's those people. Finally, a person with a giant wrench begins smashing the hell out of the engine, laughing like crazy. I call this destroyer behaviour. Okay, so we've got the taker. These are the negative people you might have in your circle of friends. The drainer and the destroyer. With takers, drainers, and destroyers in the driver's pit crew, there's no way he or she will be able to win a race. Actually, the car wouldn't even be able to get back on the track. So give me some hearts or some comments if you like that analogy to begin with. I think it's wicked. And let's have a look. Wendy says, I call them mood hoovers. People call them all kinds of things. Yeah, mood hoovers, time vampires, energy vampires. I call them battery drainers. But there are people who you're going to have in your life who are like that. Well, there's people you go... Well, I don't do it very often anymore, but, I would go for a coffee with them. Now I'm always a bit busy, unfortunately. And they drain you within minutes. And equally, there's people who I would go for coffee with, and before we've even got into the coffee shop, when you just see them walking towards you down the road, you both look at each other, you both start smiling, you shake hands, high five, give them a hug, whatever, and you feel instantly like you're chatting away, and you're pumped up, even in the queue, as you're both waiting to actually get served in the coffee shop. There's a big difference, and I'm sure you've both experienced that, where you're completely drained within 5 minutes, or before you've even spoke to each other, you're completely charged. So Sean goes on now to choosing your pit crew. So let's have a look at this, because this is a question a lot of people ask me all the time. They're like, right, well, I get this. I understand it. It's in theory. but putting into practice is really hard because, I can't just ditch my friends, or where do I find new friends? It's really hard to meet new people. And I get that, but it's actually a lot easier than you imagine. So he says, look, I see takers, drainers, and destroyers in human pit crews every day. They surround so many of the people who come to me wondering how their lives got so off course. It's a sad truth, but we humans often make horrible choices in the company we keep. High-performance race cars are expensive vehicles, but you and I are priceless. We deserve the best pit crews possible. Anything less, and we'll end up losing the human race. Okay, I agree. I love the way he uses words like this. So 1, avoid the takers, okay? The mechanic who took the race car's tyres and used them on his own car was a taker. I'll bet you know at least one person in your life who mooches off you, selfishly using your money, your talents, your social network, or belongings. Maybe even tolerate it. Well, don't. These friends take far more from us than they ever contributed. Recently, I recognised that one of my longtime friends was a taker. I'd known him for years, and I'd even looked up to him as a mentor. Because of this, I overlooked the warning signs. But one day, when our friendship was tested, his true nature revealed itself, and I couldn't help but see it. I'd met a girl online, and we talked on the phone, text messaged, and emailed each other for a couple of months. I'd begun to develop some real interest in her, and she seemed to be reciprocating. We decided to meet in person, so I invited her to see me present a talk in the town where she lived. I also invited 12 of my other friends, some of the 25 or so friends that I call my Seantourage. Instead of entourage, it's Seantourage, including my old buddy. Afterwards, we all had dinner together. I looked across the table and was shocked to see my buddy hitting on the girl that I was interested in. I quickly excused myself and asked him to join me for a minute. I explained the whole situation, getting him up to speed on who she was and how I felt that she had a great relationship potential for me. I told him clearly that I'd appreciate it if he didn't hit on her. He acknowledged my concerns and agreed to respect my wishes. 3 days later, what a shit. 3 days later, I discovered that he'd asked for her number later that night and afterwards pursued her romantically. It felt like a punch in the gut. I knew that even though we'd been friends for years, or at least I thought we had to cut him from my pit crew. Not because he won the girl I liked, but because it was so easy for him to disregard not only my feelings, but a direct request. Bit of cock blocking going on, said Steve. Exactly. Takers, like this man, have no regard for you, your wishes or your boundaries. Let them go before they take something even more precious from you. Just had a little notice pop up on my screen here, guys. I'm just going to take that notification off. There we go. Now I can see you again. So they're the takers, all right? And you might have some takers. Fanny says, why was the girl so easy? Well, we don't know if she was, Fanny. We're making assumptions there. He'd romantically pursued her. I don't know if he got anywhere or whether she'd ejected herself or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. The guy is what's in question at the moment. Everyone's going slag. I don't know if she was or not. Okay, but I like the way you clearly all team Sean. This is what I love. Danielle on Facebook says, some are not obvious in their negative behaviours, need awareness to spot. Yeah, I think you're right, Danielle, definitely. So let's look at what else to spot. So they're the takers. Now let's look at the drainers, right? Now let's talk about the member of the pit crew who pokes holes in your gas tank. These people are drainers. They drain your energy. They bring drama. Oh, God. I've had people in my life, man, who just bring drama. Nothing but drama. Thankfully, they're not in my life anymore, but thinking about it, just every email, text, phone call, drama. These people bring drama, darkness, and negativity into your life. Every time they show up, the energy in the room plummets. You feel as if you need a week at a spa just to recover from hanging out with them. My friend James Ray says it best. He says, stay away from energy vampires. No matter how strong you are, drainers will eventually suck the life out of you and suck you into their depressing world. You can spot them easily by listening to what they talk about. Negative statistics, scary news stories, health warnings, and horrifying, terrible personal accounts are par for the course. Here are a few examples. Did you hear about the rise in lung cancer in women? Really cheery topic to be talking about first thing in the morning. You'd better be careful on the internet. I heard about this guy who lost everything he owned just because he registered on a website. scaremongering. Man, the government is so... This is one I hear a lot. I'm so fucking bored of this. Man, the government is so crooked. They just take your money and spend it on themselves. I just don't give a shit because I'll look after myself. You know, I hear that one all the time. The government's fault I'm not successful. The government's fault I don't have this. The government's fault I have that. No, it's not. It's just your fault. Brutally honest, it's just your fault. It ain't the government's fault, okay? They're all a bunch of crooks. Completely kind of agree with that. I think there's corruption everywhere. Do I buy into it? Do I rely on them for anything? Nah, nothing at all. So here's another one. Just yesterday, I saw a bunny get run over by a semi. It's not great, is it? They're the same people. And I agree with their motives, because I think they feel they're doing something great, but these are the same people who post animals being skinned alive in China for food festivals on your Facebook wall, right? I know this goes on. I would sign any petition in the world if I thought it would help. I just don't need to see it and have it thrust in my face because I'm like a real animal lover, and I don't want to see it because that will just screw me up for a couple of hours. I don't want to, you know. I know so much terrible shit goes on in the world. Let's not thrust it in each other's faces as a way to give ourselves significance. Look what I've done. Makes people feel significant. I'm an animal protester. I'll spread this all over Facebook. Well, you will. But actually, you know what? If you just wrote, guys, I've set a petition up to stop the awful meat trade of dogs in China, I'd sign it without watching the video. Just sign it because words can be enough. I don't need to see it. But these people feel they're getting loads of significance from it. And like, look how good I am. No, you're not. You're actually just draining everybody on your Facebook. So I'm all for that. Massively for activists in that kind of stuff. Go for it. But don't post these videos. It just fucks everybody up. And like you end up making people miserable. Where you could just ask them to take action anyway. And I'm sure they'd do it if they're your friends. So he says, not every conversation you have with your friends needs to be about upbeat topics, of course. You should be able to talk about all kinds of things. If you begin to notice that certain friends can talk only about what's wrong, bad and unfair with the world and their life, and by extension your life, that's a sign that you're talking to a drainer. You've only so much energy, right? If you let these energy vampires drain you dry, you'll have nothing left for yourself. So they're the drainers. So how many drainers do you think you've got in your life? I'm happy to say I don't think I've got many, to be honest. Those that are kind of used to be around, I don't really talk to you very much. So they're the energy vampires. Be careful of them. So we looked at takers and drainers. Now we're going to look at the destroyers. Thankfully, I don't think I've got any of these, but you might have a destroyer. And Steve wants to set up a "Let's Get Stephen Abroad" petition. Well, Steve, mate, you don't have to record a video of yourself being persecuted or whatever. Just tell me where the petition is, mate. I'll sign it for you if you think it's going to help. So avoid the destroyers. Back to our auto racing metaphor, right? The mechanic who trashed the engine with a wrench was a destroyer. Destroyers in your pit crew are the worst. They actually get a thrill out of destroying minds, bodies, spirits, dreams, opportunities, and property. Sometimes they do this unconsciously without even realising it, but sometimes they do it on purpose. These are the so-called friends who pressure us to drink to get drunk. I've definitely had that. I love that. I'll go for a drink with somebody at night and they'll be like, what are you having? I go, I'll just have a black currant and soda water or whatever. What? So you're not drinking? No, just going to have that. It's fine. What? Oh, what? Oh, come on. I'm like, me not drinking should absolutely not deter you from drinking if you want to drink. And me not drinking should not in any way take away the fun that you could have from having a drink. I don't understand why I have to have a drink, and that's just to make you feel less guilty about drinking. Well, I'm not going to do it unless I actually want a drink. I get that quite a lot, though. So they're the so-called friends who pressure us to drink to get drunk, to always blow off our work and play, to quit on our dreams, to break the law, to do something unethical or immoral. The list goes on and on. Dawn says peer pressure. Yeah, exactly. It's bollocks, Dawn. Destroyers are angry people. They show the world they don't care by challenging authority and laying waste to everything they come into contact with. They'll lie to your face and think nothing of it. They'll ruin a surprise party you've been planning for months. They'll share your secrets in a public gathering just to embarrass you. They'll over-promise to get immediate praise. And they under-deliver when it matters most. They're just, glad I don't have any of this really, but they sound like really shit people. I once had a destroyer in my life who was a lot of fun to be around. At least when we were partying. He was high energy and very loud. At a crazy college party, that's a plus. At your grandparents' house for dinner, not so good. Every time I was around him, and make sure we were somewhere loud and very obscure. Why? Because I didn't want him around my family or someone who might be important to my career, or anyone who might be sensitive to the inappropriate comments that would inevitably fly out of his mouth. He was a social liability, to say the least. I've got some lovable rogues who I used to go to school with, who I'll meet up with now and again, who are a little bit like that. I won't take them around my circles or the places I hang out, but I'll kind of go out to their kind of places and just watch them destroy the place. Destroyers feel they have nothing to live for outside of seeing what they can get away with. The fact that their actions have negative consequences for others rarely, if ever, registers on their radar. Their behaviour often leads them to bankruptcy, alcoholism, divorce. Have I missed much? Somebody just said. You missed a little bit, but we're going to do a recap. Hang on in there. We're talking about, at the moment, destroyers who you might have in your circle of friends, okay? So their behaviour often leads them to bankruptcy, alcoholism, divorce, obesity, prison, homelessness, drug addiction, depression, and complete and total abandonment of everyone around them. They can lead you to the same place if you don't take action to cut them from your pit crew. So we've got a little exercise here. Sean says, look, right, who's on your pit crew? And I want you to give me some examples of who you think, or how many of these types of people you've got around you. If you don't have any of them, that's amazing. He says, take a good, honest look at the people you have selected to be in your pit crew. And I bet, if you're like me, because I haven't really, to be honest with you, super consciously chosen my pit crew. I think I've put out a vibe that's attracted certain people to me, and mostly that's good. But I don't think I've really super chosen consciously. And I think that would be a better, kind of a better way to go about this. Not to clinically figure out who your mates are, none of that, but to actually assess it, okay? So have you drafted any takers, drainers, or destroyers? In your get off your butt now journal that you can create by just getting a blank notepad, effectively, guys, make a list of your top 5 friends, okay? The people you call when you're having a bad day. Ask yourself if they are taking from, draining, or destroying you in any way. So just do that now. Write down the top 5 people. So Jim Rohn, another thought leader, said you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I completely agree with that. Noel and Liam Gallagher, don't think they know me, but they are. In your dreams, Steve. Let's have a look. I had a destroyer until I destroyed them, says Peter. Excellent. Hopefully not physically. Therefore, you could be in prison. I was involved in... Oh, someone said something there. I missed that. The comment flew really quickly. But let us know, yeah, And also, I'm going to ask you in a minute what you think you are. Rather have no friends at all than crap bags like that in my life. Who's that, Caroline? Who are you talking about? Or do you just mean in general? I should not be drinking coffee at gone 9 o'clock at night. Let's have a look, see if anyone's got anything. Anyone got anything on Facebook? Let me click it in the video on Facebook, see if we've got any... Oh, I've got to turn the sound off on this. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we've got any people in Facebook. Chris Stone has just joined. I can see Maz has joined as well. I managed to get rid of... Claire says, I managed to get rid of a friend that punished me if I didn't do what she wants me to, ignoring me or posting generic things on Facebook, which I clearly don't. Oh, my God. Claire, just block them on Facebook. Like, you don't have to unfriend them. And it's good that Peter didn't physically destroy someone. But yeah, you can ignore people on Facebook. So you can literally go and say, you click in the top right-hand corner of one of their posts, and you can hide their content. It doesn't mean they'll ever know you've done that. It won't mean that you have to actually unfriend them. But get rid of people like that. It's all significance driven, that. When people write something on Facebook in a Facebook post, and it'll be something stupid like, oh, FFS, for sake. Can't believe it's happened again. And that's it. They won't actually then divulge what's happened. And they do that so everybody comes crawling into their comments and goes, oh, what's the matter? I hate it. What's the matter, hun? Oh, I'll inbox you. Oh, piss off. It's just ridiculous. It's like, it makes my skin crawl when people do that. If you're gonna post something on Facebook to say that something hasn't gone to plan or you've got an outcome that you didn't want, at least explain what happened. Don't just crave attention in your tiny little world looking for significance. Actually tell people what's gone on. Otherwise, everybody, I promise you, even the people who will inbox you, still think you're a dick. Honestly, they just do, because I'm sure you do when you see other people do it. It's just for attention. Everyone here saying, I hate it, that drives me nuts. It's bollocks, Wendy, innit? I'm sorry for the language. But yeah, it is. It's just, it's pure it's their ego driving that, and your ego can really be your enemy sometimes. It's so self-indulgent. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I really hate that, Claire. People like that, honestly, they're the drama. They're the people who just bring drama into your life. You don't need it. Please block them. Like, you don't have to block them. I mean, ignore them. Like, you can literally ignore them on Facebook, where Facebook will not display posts from them. You don't have to unfriend them. They won't know that you've gone. It's fine. Alex says, difficult. I cut a lot of people due to being bad influences. Good for you, Alex. Absolutely. Chris, good evening, mate. Kellyanne is here all the way from LA. How we doing? Looking smashing. Thanks, Kelly. We'll see you on the Bulletproof call tomorrow night. Tricia says she does block people. Definitely. It's just, oh God, I just pity him. I just like, have you got nothing? People who wake up in the middle of the night, and I've seen it the next morning when I'm going to the gym, and I'll just flick through Facebook, see what's going on. I've seen people complaining about like something at 2 a.m. in the morning. They've woken up, and rather than try and get back to sleep, they've actually decided to jump on Facebook and write a point out on Facebook about how annoyed they are at something. And I'm like, you've actually just spent energy and time and emotion doing this, and it's not served you in any positive way at all. You're completely out of control in terms of your emotions are controlling you. You are not controlling your emotions. You need to get better at that. So yeah, just have a little think. So to recap, those 3 people you don't want in your life: the takers, the drainers, and the destroyers. The takers are the people who just never give you anything. The drainers are the people who within 5 minutes just drain your energy and leave you feeling terrible. And the destroyers are people who are just super, super negative people and just, ultimately have nothing to offer the world that's remotely positive. By all means try and help them, but don't spend too much time on them, because they'll just turn you into the same thing. So I want to have a look at why we actually keep these people in our lives, because we do, and I've been guilty of this myself as well in the past when I thought I didn't have a choice. People always say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. I think a lot of people just don't choose their friends particularly wisely. So Sean says, look, if they're so awful, why do we keep takers, drainers, and destroyers in our lives? Well, there's loads of reasons for this, okay? We feel sorry for them. That's a big one. Loads of people in here will be like, I don't want to unfriend that person on Facebook because I feel bad for them. You're not responsible for their feelings, as they are not responsible for yours. And if you're putting loads of time into developing yourself to get yourself out of the mire and the shit, and you're having a good time and you're doing well, you don't owe these people anything. You owe it to yourself and the people around you who you really care about to be the best version of yourself, okay? So we feel obligated to them. Maybe people have helped you out in the past or whatever, and now you feel obligated. We think we can change them. We can't, right? They have to change themselves. We're afraid of what would happen if we left them. We're addicted to the drama they provide. So there is a little bit of that where you're like, actually, you know what? Watching this person destroy their own life might make you feel better about yours. Because you're like, well, at least it's not as bad as Dave's. Well, look at him, he's on Jeremy Kyle or whatever. That's really, really negative way to have your human needs met. Okay, so your main human needs of certainty, variety, significance, and love and connection. You can get them all fulfilled by living precariously through other people and watching them destroy their lives. It's why we watch car crash TV, effectively. It's like, oh, I wasn't feeling great this morning, but at least my life's not as good as them. It's a really low quality way to fulfill those needs. Don't do it. Go out and actually, fulfill those needs in a high quality, positive way that's going to actually require work and you doing something positive. We like having someone to make fun of. That's another one as well. We have a history with them stretching back to childhood. We want something from them. We feel better about our lives when we see them. That's what we're just talking about. It says, mostly, however, we haven't truly recognized or admitted to ourselves the sizable damage they've done to our lives. Okay, as annoying and destructive as they are, takers, energy drainers, and destroyers are generally not evil people. They are people who need help, but unless they come to you specifically asking for that help, you need to stay out of it. You're welcome to throw them a life vest, but I'm warning you, if you get in the water and try to pull them ashore, they'll wrap their dead weight around you and drag you to the bottom of the ocean floor. Another great analogy. Sean is awesome at this. Yeah, I think like I say, sometimes I'll see people, and I will try and help people. I mean, I will reach out to people and try and help them. Even haters in comments on Facebook videos like this or something like that, people will leave a negative comment. I'll go back through the comments and go, listen, I appreciate you even leaving a comment. I don't believe you you meant what you said. Here's an ebook or here's a video you should go and watch, and maybe this will help you just, get a different perspective on things. But I won't certainly, like he says, get in the water and try that for too long. You'll try and help them a little bit. But if they, and particularly people who don't take action on what I tell them to do. So I've got some really great people in my life who have been like, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with this. And I'll be like, right, let's try and really help you in your life. And then I'll tell them to do something. And then I'll see them again 3 weeks later. And they'll be struggling with the same issue. And then I'll be like, right, have you done that thing that I told you to do? No, I haven't. And I'm like, right, well, this is your issue. You've got to do that thing. And then I'll see them another 3 weeks later. And again, they won't have done that thing yet. And there's only so many times where I'm like, right, I can't tell you to do this thing again. Come back to me when you've finally done this thing and we can talk again. But until then, I'm kind of out. So you don't want to get in and let them wrap that dead weight around you because it will seriously drag you down. Claire says, yes, drainers don't care about your happiness as much as you worry about them. Yeah, absolutely, completely. And Alex says, I was recently asked why I removed someone on Facebook. Why does it matter? This is really interesting because I wouldn't even know who removed me from Facebook. I don't know how you even keep a track of it. Someone said to me the other day, oh, I cut someone out, and they had an app that told them that I'd unfriended them on Facebook. And I'm like, fucking hell, if you're that sad that you've got an app that tells you who's unfriended you on Facebook, you need to seriously assess what you're doing with your life, because that's just absolutely insane. I only want people to be on my Facebook who want me in their life and vice versa. I really, would have no qualms with anybody unfriending me because I'm like, well, that's fine, Genuinely, I'm all right with that. So if people are like giving you a hard time because you've done that, then it just proves that they are drainers, takers or destroyers. Definitely it means you've done the right thing without a doubt. So we'll quickly I'm going to kind of sum up in a minute, but we're just going to look at what Sean calls the ABCs of friendship. And these are, Caroline says, why would you have that app? Yeah, I've literally no idea, Caroline. But he says, listen, relax. I'm not suggesting that you need to scrap your entire pit crew. And I want to hammer this home as well. I would never tell you to do that, okay? You have to go and recruit a new batch of friends, right? You just need to consider how much time you want to spend with certain people, okay? The more time you spend with someone, the more you become like that person, right? And he says, wait, well, doesn't that mean that a positive person could boost up a negative person? Well, no, it doesn't. In order to move from a negative space to a positive space, you have to be willing to change. Okay, but negativity doesn't need your consent to affect you. This is why I split my pit crew into 3 groups. And it's dead easy to understand. He's got his A friends, okay? And his A friends are friends that I always want to be around. So write down, genuinely, I think this is useful for you. Write down your A friends. I think, honestly, I've probably got, 5, I'd say. Probably not more than that. I think I've got a really close knit group of friends who are my A friends, people I've known for years. I class my brother in that as well. Real A friends who I'm like, you know what, I'll just be around you all the time. It's absolutely fine, even though me and my brother do argue sometimes. He has put the phone down on me once in my life. That didn't go down very well. I'm a stubborn bastard as well, so when he did that, it was like, right, that is it. I ain't picking up again for at least 3 hours. But these are your A friends, okay? Friends you always want to be around. Your B friends. These are friends you want to be careful of, okay? Only careful. Doesn't mean you've got to scrutinize them in depth. You've got to be careful of them. They're your B friends. Your C friends are friends you want to say, see you later to. So like I said, very easy to understand. A friends are the A team. Your B friends are the ones you want to be careful of, and your C friends are the ones you want to say see you to, okay? So the ranking system has nothing to do with how much I like or love an individual. It simply describes the amount of time I can afford to spend in that person's company. So you might have a sister or a mum or a dad who's like, you know what? Like, this person would be on my C list because they're just right now super, super negative. Doesn't mean I don't love them, you might love that person unconditionally. It just means right now you don't want to be spending too much time with them if you've already reached out to try and help these people. You've got to wait till they're really ready to help themselves, and then you can step back in. So it says, A friends are genuine friends, okay? When you're having a bad day, they pick you up, they dust you off, and they give you a loving shove in the direction of your dreams. They join you in making healthy choices, being honest with yourself, digging deeper to find out what you're really complaining about, eating right, exercising, going on spiritual explorations, engaging in creative activities. You know they'll drop everything if you're in a jam. When they commit to something, they always follow through. They consider your feelings before saying or doing anything. A friends are the hardest to find, and they are truly priceless, okay? C friends, don't worry, we'll come back to B. are the extreme takers, all right? Energy drainers and destroyers. Don't walk away from them, run, he says. Anytime you hang out with a C friend, your quality of life will slip. Constant exposure to them will quickly lead to you being sick, tired, and broke. Not a good idea. The majority of your friends will probably fall into the B category. Sometimes they're positive and supportive like A friends, and at other times they're negative and destructive like C friends. You never know who will show up when you hang out with them. They'll say nice things to your face and say mean things behind your back. They'll tell you that they'll always be there for you, but when it comes to it, they're gone. Our B friends tend to sort themselves out after a while. Either they eventually grow up, get serious, and make positive strides to be an A friend, or they never get it or never care to and eventually get bumped into the C friend list and out the door. Okay, so have a think about, good evening, James. I saw James join on Facebook. Have a think about how many A friends you got in your life, how many B friends you need to be careful of, and how many C's. So many C's I've had, says Caroline. Makes me sad thinking back. Well, that's all right. You know what? And you know what, Caroline, though? They might eventually realise that. And you know what might be nice one day is they might elevate themselves to be a B and then into the A team. I don't think, people's decisions sometimes... My older sister is a D friend for don't bother, someone just said. Sometimes people's decisions I don't think people's decisions always define them as a person, all right? And I try and separate people who have made really bad decisions in my life. I try and separate the decisions from who that person is. And I'm like, you know what? I know at the core of it, you're not this person who made this decision, no matter how terrible that is. And I hope one day you realize that and you start making better decisions. I hope you've learned from that experience, and I'll never hold a grudge or anything like that. And hopefully, Caroline, those people might come back into your life later down the line. They might elevate to B, and then they might end up going, you know what, I'm having a much better time now. I understand where I went wrong, and boom, now I'm in the A game. I've had friends who I've not seen for 10 years because we drifted apart. Nothing more than that. We never fell out or anything like that. We just went our separate ways, and our interests grew apart. They've come back into my life. I met a guy in the gym who I'd not hung out with for 12 years. And then we started working out with each other every single day for years. Now his life has changed a bit, and he's got getting married, and he's got 2 kids. So we're drifting ever slightly apart again because we don't see each other as much. Doesn't mean I wouldn't look out for him. He's still an A friend of mine, and we'd been apart for 12 years. And yet, it looks like now maybe we'll drift apart again for a bit. But there's always those friends you can always come back to, and it's like you never left. I think those friends are great as well. So people can always learn from their decisions in the past, up their game in the future. I often try to be the person who tries to help other people whenever I can, whether it be motivation, etc. It's so hard to find people that will do it in return, says Alex. It is hard, but that's why you've got to put effort into this. If you wanted to get better at anything else in your life, have a better career, have a better health, have a better body, better relationship, whatever, you'd put work into it, wouldn't you? People just think kind of friends they're just people who... People become friends with people through proximity. I think that's it. I've got to be friends with them because I work with them or whatever. It's actually, you don't. If you put some more effort in, meetup.com, I tell people this all the time, is such a great resource for you. Meetup.com. You can go on there, search for meetups that people arrange in your area, all around particular interests and hobbies and stuff like that, and go and hang out with people who really get you. It's not a sad thing. People look at it and go, it's a bit like internet dating, isn't it? Who would have thought internet dating was so normal today? In 2001, you did internet dating, you were like a nerd in your basement, you were looked at as a freak. Now it's like everybody, I look on the train, everybody's swiping left and right on their phone. It's so normal. I think stuff like meetup.com is so normal. Effectively going out and meeting new people and just having friends, not dating them, but just going out and going, I want to try and up my peer group. It's a wicked thing, but people don't want to step out of their comfort zone because they're like, it's like first day at school, and I've got to go into a meet-up where I don't know anybody. Guarantee there's at least another half a dozen people there who are there for the first time. Every time we do an act on this meet-up, do those once a month. We've got one on the first Saturday of the month in Manchester, last Saturday of the month, although that might change in London. London is changing from the last Saturday of the month to something else. But the first Saturday of the month in Manchester, there's always new people there, and they always come with trepidation, and you can always see them loitering on the edge thinking, oh God, is this the meet-up? Am I in the right place? And instantly, what does everybody do? Oh, come in, because we've all felt that. We all knew what it was like to be the new person. So meetup.com, if you want to meet new people, and you're like, I need some fresh people in my life. It's a great place. If you can't get out of the house a lot, do this virtually. I mean, this is great that we've got this. The Facebook group, Acts on This Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. Massively inspiring group of 6,000 actors there. You'll always get support and help there. I will personally jump in the comments and support you there with any questions and stuff you've got. Jane says, I've helped people out in the industry only to not see them again. I just wish them good luck and have friends who I haven't seen in years and still can call them if I need them. Awesome, James. Yeah, you know what? And give to people, guys, without any expectation of anything back. That's if you have zero expectation of people, I don't mean that in a negative way, you'll never be disappointed. I'll help people unconditionally, non-transactionally. I've sent 6 emails today from people today that have emailed me questions and for advice. It took me, I probably spent well over an hour writing emails today. Don't expect anything back. Just putting out the good stuff. And I know when you do that, good things happen to you. Mel says, proximity effect summed up in a Bruce Willis quote. It's not a choice, it's a lack of options. Yes, Mel. Exactly. It's why people, you know what? This is why most people hook up and actually start a relationship through proximity. Because they feel they don't have any other option. It's like you've got 7 billion people out in the world there, but you're choosing to marry. You're actually considering who in your office you could date and marry and be the father or mother of your children based on the fact that you both applied to the same company for a job. I mean, sometimes it works, but I think other times, people literally just go, oh, well, I'll stick with this because I've got a lack of options. So where to find A friends? This is Sean's advice. He says, you wouldn't go to a heavy metal concert and expect to meet opera aficionados. So if you're looking for A friends, ask yourself where you would be most likely to find them. Personally, I've never made an A friend at a bar. Bars, although they can be fun, are usually filled with people who are seeking noisy distraction or instant gratification or a way to drown their sorrows or numb their insecurities. Hello, Tola. I can't read your name on Periscope, but hello. My potential A friends, he says, tend to turn up at personal growth seminars, places of worship and meditation, healthy restaurants, adventure clubs, bookstores, coffee shops, gyms, and dinner parties given by other A friends. Okay, 2 themes characterize all these venues: upbeat and health conscious. A friends treat their mind, body, and spirit with love and respect. Naturally, they are inclined to love, respect, and care for others with the same devotion. So I always say this to people when they're like, oh, how do I find these kind of people in my life? I'm like, you know what you need to do? You need to become one of those people you want to attract. If you can become one of the people you want to attract, you're bound to have more of that type of person in your life. And that applies to friends and intimate relationships as well. If you go, right, the girl of my dreams says this, ambitious, driven, this, that, all this kind of stuff, independent, become that thing. Don't become a girl if you're a guy, because that's, unless you want to, I mean, that's absolutely fine. But I mean, just become the attributes that you're looking for. And you'll win. You'll start to find those people because you're going to be in the places where you're going to see those people because you're going to be drawn to those places yourself. And those people are going to be drawn to you. So it's just an interesting one. I just thought it was a great topic to kind of remind people of, particularly because we're talking about it within the Bulletproof Actor program at the moment. Your A friends, your B friends, and your C friends. And it doesn't mean that you have to go and cut all these people out of your life instantly. What will happen as well, what a lot of people really experience, is when you... I mean, what are you? Give me some letters, A, B, or C. What do you think you are at the moment, if you're completely honest with yourself? Are you an A friend to all those people around you? Are you a B friend who they should be careful of? Because sometimes you're total whining, negative Nancy. Or are you a C? Are you a C friend? And you're like, man, I'm just totally destructive. I need to sort my shit out right now. So let's have a look. So Carly says she's an A. Caroline's an A. All you guys are going to be A, I reckon, on here because you won't be here on a personal development broadcast if you weren't an A. Peter's a double A. He's a double A, man. Excellent. B, very occasionally. A, most of the time. Thanks for your honesty there, Bobby. A, B, says Wendy. We're all susceptible to being a little bit negative sometimes, but I think the key for me is when I feel it kind of creeping up on me, I know how to deal with it very, very quickly. It's really easy for me to catch it now, and I think I really like to leave people, I've said this before, better than I found them. So it's kind of a non-negotiable for me now, but it takes a lot of practice. Claire says, at the moment, I'm probably a B, but I say I'm usually an A. Let's get you back to an A, Claire. Andrew's an A. Got your email, Andrew? We're going to sort out your show reel, man, and get that up to scratch. Get you a gig, but you should be working, dude. Get you a gig by the end of the year. James, I'm a D for damn good. People are giving themselves different letters now. But yeah, just have a think about how you're showing up basically for your friends around you, because it's not just you who deserves to be the best you; it's other people around you as well. I can't be honest with people a lot of the time. I missed that other comment. This long comment. I missed it on Periscope. I wouldn't be a B or a C because I know how it feels to be on the receiving end, says Caroline. And Bobby, your comments faded out as well. Sorry, dude. But yeah, I think it's awesome. If you can be an A consistently, I just think you're going to be living at such a higher level. When you can, honestly, just when you can bring stuff to other people's lives to make their experience of this world better without any expectation of getting anything back. I know sometimes it can feel like, when am I gonna get when is this world gonna give me something back, right? This happens genuinely, right? This has happened to me. Like, I think about this. I'm like, you know what? I spend a lot of my time, like nearly all of it, okay, running a website that's for the greater good, running an acting community on Facebook for the greater good, doing live broadcasts like this for the greater good. And sometimes there will be a few weeks where I'm like, right, something's got to click. Like, there's got to be something. Like, I'm due something, basically. Because I do genuinely feel that when all you're doing is putting out good in the world and showing up to do good on a daily basis, I promise you do get things back without asking for it. It's almost magical. I can't explain it. Life becomes very different when you operate from this point. But there will be some barren weeks where you're like, right, I'm feeling that I'm spending 2 hours a day emailing people advice. I'm getting back to everyone who tweets me. I'm leaving Facebook comments to everyone who leaves me a Facebook comment. I'm running this group. I'm doing this. I'm giving. I feel that I've banked enough to withdraw now. And I promise you, every single time that happens where I think, oh, I've not had any decent news for a bit, it happens. Something happens, right? Today, I was feeling a little bit like ever so slightly overwhelmed this week because I've had a lot going on, and I'm doing the Bulletproof Actor training. I was writing up the slides for tomorrow night's live call. It's going to be amazing, guys. If you're on that, look forward to that one. We've got loads of extracurricular stuff tomorrow night. I was like, I could just do with I just need a sign to go, you're still doing the right thing. This is working. Got an email off my voiceover agent to say that I've got a casting on Tuesday for animation, and it's the biggest animation I've ever been put up for. Both in number of episodes and financially. It's just, it eclipses what I've done in the past. The pressure's on to go, right, I've got to go and smash it. I think I will because I'm pretty experienced at it now and I'm confident. But that was the sign that I needed to go, it's all right. You're giving other people opportunities. You're going to get served an opportunity yourself. It really does work, like when you operate from that place. Honestly, guys, it really does. Thank you. Kylie says, good luck. Go get it, Ross says, Dawn. Thank you, Bobby. Honestly, it does. So sometimes, when you're putting all this stuff out, and you might be in that position now where you're like, look, I'm doing all this good stuff, but I just feel like, I just wish like the world would just, pay out to a certain, and we don't do it for that. I know we don't do it for that, but we have to, ultimately we do have to get something out of it in terms of, to live and to operate. And in order for you to keep giving, you've got to fill your well up somehow, somewhere else, and the world will do that, I believe, if you do just keep giving without expectation. But it's lovely to get kind of, the confirmation of that. It's amazing. So if you're in a place now where you're like, it's been a few weeks, I'm doing all this good, but I ain't seeing anything, hang in there, right? Might not be this week, might not be next week, but soon and for the rest of your life, it will be there. Thank you for all the positive comments, guys. Appreciate that. I will let you know how I'll go on. Yeah, it's on Tuesday. Don't know when I find out about it. I do quite a lot of castings for these, and sometimes it can literally be weeks later. I drive a lorry for money, not for love. I can't read your username probably. What's your name? Whoever said that, driving the lorry, give me your first name so I know who you are. My eyes aren't particularly good, so when I'm looking on a small phone here, I can't read the username at the top, and I don't think it was your actual real name. Sarah says, good advice. Sarah, good evening. Good to see you. I didn't know you were on here. But yeah, it is amazing. James says it comes down to karma. Yeah, it does. Well, I've told you my opinion on karma. So I don't believe karma is necessarily a mystical force. I believe Andy, good to see you, man. So yeah, what I believe karma is a bit like this, James. So I'm like, you know what? My thing is that, I leave people better than I found them. And if I can do that on a daily basis, even if it's people I don't know, I walk past people in the morning on my way from a gym and they're dog walking, and I'll say hello and smile and stroke the dog, and I end up, you end up kind of developing a little bit of a friendship with these people over the years if you see them every single morning. And that's nice to leave people in a better way, smiling, a bit happier. And I believe that if they're in a better mood, they will then go on, and the next person they meet, they will, show up in a better way, smile at, maybe make happier. That person then goes on and does the same for someone else, but that person that they're doing it for could quite easily be a member of my family or a friend of mine. So that's how I believe it kind of goes out and goes around. I just think, if you can put as much out there as you can, someone's going to pay it back. If not directly to you, to someone who you know, or to someone who you love or care about. So that's what I believe in karma. And of course, you get stuff back yourself. If you're doing good all the time, it's absolutely inevitable. Thank you, Danielle. Says all the best. Have fun. Cheers, Mel. Let's have a look. And Kelly says, what you said, Kane, saying, Kelly. You say you failed a friend. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so you're saying someone had a car accident because they were drink driving, and you let them drink drive. You didn't let them drink drive. They chose to drink drive. Okay, regardless, you might have made a bad decision to get in the car yourself. That's your decision, and that's the decision you made, and you then pay the consequences. That person, you didn't let them drive drunk. They chose to drive drunk. That decision was entirely theirs. They chose to have the drinks. This is where people completely discount all accountability, and it's bullshit. Don't ever let them make you feel guilty about that. Admittedly, that was a really bad decision on your part to get in a car with somebody like that if you did that. But their decision to actually get in and drive was their decision, was wholly their decision. There's no one on this planet who doesn't think that, who doesn't understand that drinking and driving is a bad thing. In the UK, man, you get absolutely slaughtered for it. I think in the States where you are, it's almost a little bit more accepted for some reason. In the UK, we absolutely persecute people for it. It's got such a terrible stigma attached to it. I think that's why a lot of people don't do it. Admittedly, they still do. But if you get in a car and you've been drinking, you shouldn't be in the car. I think it's one of the most selfish things you can possibly do. Go and kill yourself, that's fine. Don't drive a car that could kill other people. A friend of mine got into a car with a friend's sister of mine got into a car with a drink driver. To get a lift home like 400 meters down the road. This was many years ago. The guy was a boy, drunk, showing off in the car to the girls, picked them up from a pizza place, all got in the car. He was showing off as the big man, stupid little boy. Flew round a corner straight into a tree. This girl went through the roof of the car and was instantly killed. Literally such a waste because of some prick who was showing off, who made a terrible, terrible decision. And I'm sure, again, that decision doesn't define him as a person. He's probably learned from that now, and I don't know how you get over that, really. But the girl, unfortunately, as well, made the choice to get in the car. She wouldn't have a gun to her head and was told to get in the car. She took the chance and unfortunately, accepted the consequences, which were horrific. Literally gave her life for that. So I have a massive hatred of anybody who kind of drinks drives. But equally, yeah, it ain't your fault, like Kelly. They chose to do that. They had complete control over their actions, and they pay the consequences. And you're just very lucky if you were in the car that you didn't get hurt yourself. Never ever again in capital letters she's put. No, awesome. And again, you learn from it. It's an outcome. You learn from it. You don't want to persecute yourself. When you feel guilty about stuff, guys, it means that actually right now your standards are higher than they were when you did that thing. Guilt can actually be, if you look at it properly, it's actually a positive thing to feel guilty because it means your standards have risen. So don't persecute yourself forever about something like that, because if you realize the error of your ways and you've learned from it, you're actually succeeding. Just don't make the same mistake twice. Never, ever go in another car if someone has been drinking. Even if you just have a slight suspicion, it just ain't worth your life. It really isn't worth your life. Guilt can be debilitating, says Fanny. Yeah, it can. I know guilt. Literally, I mean, there's whole books been written on guilt and a link to guilt, and even there's been links. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's any foundation in it whatsoever. But people going, look, you can literally guilt yourself into becoming very ill. In terms of actual mutations within the body on a cellular level, links to guilt and cancer, that kind of stuff. It's not healthy to just basically just completely persecute yourself for the rest of your life. You've done something bad and you've learned from it, and you can then go and change, people's lives for the better because of that. Then let's do that, because life's, not about, hating on yourself. Don't hate on yourselves. You tell you what, because you know why? You know why I like literally am my number one biggest fan? Because there's loads of people out there who will do the hating for me. Loads of people out there who will look at my flaws for me. I'm not going to focus on my flaws because people will do that all day, every day for me. I'm not going to, bolster that. But yeah, don't beat yourself up about it. And Fanny, if you're feeling guilty about something or whatever, or you're feeling debilitated because of it, got to face it and go, you know what? If I'm feeling guilt, it's actually a positive thing because my standards are better than they were when I did that thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. The worst thing would be if you did it and we're like, whatever. You get crazy-ass serial killers, don't you? You're just like, yeah, killed him. You're like, right, there's actually something definitely seriously wrong with you because you killed somebody and you're showing no remorse whatsoever. That's where you've got a problem. So feeling guilt, it's a healthy thing, really. James says, just going off topic for a sec, do you have vids or advice on getting into voice work? James, if you go to actonthis.tv and if you click on the 3 little lines, top left-hand corner, the menu will slide out. Looks like they call it hamburger. It's 3 lines. Slide out, type into the white box that comes up, voiceover, all one word. People in the industry spell it either voice space over or voiceover, all one word. I always spell it as one word, voice over. And you will see, I used to run a voiceover company called VO Focus. I no longer do that anymore, but you'll see quite a lot of articles that I've written on voiceover, how you get into it, how to create your first voice reel. Go and have a look on there. There's tons and tons of information. So yeah, it's out there. I was thinking, guys, if people, because I do voiceover literally almost every day. I was thinking, I get so many requests for it. I don't know if you'd be interested. Maybe. I don't know if I should do like a real, for people who are just completely new, like a real beginners, it would be completely online as well. I'd do it kind of like this, but I'd actually show you, I'd screen share my screen, actually do like a beginner's guide to recording voiceover at home, recording your own stuff, the types of mics you would want to buy, how you set this stuff up, and ultimately, getting to a point where you can record your own stuff, so you don't have to pay a studio hundreds of pounds to practice. You can put your own stuff out there. You can get involved with Amazon's ACX program where you can record audiobooks at home and get paid quite a lot of money to do it in your own time. It's a long slog doing that because sometimes these books are like 8-10 hours long and you only get paid on the actual per hour of finished audio. But it's roughly between $250 and $400 per hour of finished audio. Now, finished audio means it's all edited and it's all done. So it wouldn't take you an hour to do an hour of audio. It would probably take you 2 hours or, depending on how good you are, 2.5 hours to actually create 1 hour of finished audio. But if you're getting paid decent money for it and you do it from home, it probably beats going and working in that bar or working in that shop or whatever you're working in to substitute your acting career. I could do that quite easily and it wouldn't even cost that much. I could probably do like a beginner's course. Maybe we did like 3 live calls and I'd put some kind of like ebook together for like £100 or something. We just get a group of people online and I can go through literally step by step sharing my screen on how you would record, edit and publish your own voice reel and your own stuff. I might even get other people involved who are in the industry who I know. I could do that relatively cheaply, I think. When he says yes please, Sarah says yes, Starbucks. So Sarah's worked in Starbucks for a while. Voiceover could get you out of Starbucks, Sarah, and you came on the voiceover course as well at the voiceover gallery. You're good at it. You could definitely get work. Scottish is actually a pretty popular accent for voiceover work. There's some accents just aren't really that required. Most stuff is neutral, which is would be like neutral or general Northern or general Southern or just neutral English, British. But Scottish is actually is quite a popular and regularly asked for accent. It's very trustworthy, so they use Scottish for a lot of corporate stuff, and TV advertising uses Scottish quite a bit as well. Remember the cooperative, good with food. It's my impression. My dad was Scottish as well. I should be better than that. I put my foot in a bucket and I footed the bucket a boot, and the more I footed the bucket, the more the bucket ran out. That's what he used to tell me to say, to do a Scottish accent. I don't think I'll ever completely master it. I like a bit of Geordie though, like Dawn. Dawn on here is a Geordie. I like doing a Geordie accent. So no call for common mank. Not that much, Steve. We'd have to neutralise your mankness. Just make you general Northern, mate. We could do that though. Don't think that's a massive problem. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I'll keep you posted on that. I'll probably put a post up in the Facebook group once it'll be in a few weeks when I've finished the Bulletproof Actor coaching. We'll sort that out. Fanny, you've got a great neutral accent. Absolutely. Welsh, I don't know if Welsh is asked for that much, Caroline. I can definitely ask my voiceover agent. But to be honest, just accents in general aren't, I mean, they're not super, super required. If you can do a general, like, not doesn't have to be RP, but just, a neutral British voice that isn't, where you can't place it particularly northern or southern, you work a lot. All of my stuff is generally neutral. It's with it's ever slightly northern because I am northern. But what I've been doing recently, all of Cost Cutter's adverts. So basically, everything I do sounds like that. You go, and get these 4 Muller corners for just £1. Cost Cutter, shop the way you live. It's that kind of it's just neutral, really. I don't know if you'd really be able to place it anywhere in the UK. You guys in America would just be like, it's just British, I guess. As we would all be for American. It just sounds American it was. Well, I don't know if it's southern or northern or whatever. But yeah, so if you can do general English, general British, you'll work quite a lot, definitely. Let's have a look. Kelly says, I'm awful at accents. I can come to the UK and play the dumb American blonde. American, absolutely. Do Welsh, Ross. If I do Welsh, I have to sound like Tom Jones. I could play rugby in the valleys. I like Tom Jones there. It's terrible, that, isn't it? I would never, ever do Welsh. It was never on my CV as an actor. Never on my CV as a voiceover artist. Just Welsh is not my bag. But if they need a Welsh female voice, Caroline, I know where to go. Melinda says I can do American and whatever Lara Croft does. Lara Croft, very British. It would work. It would work, Mel. That's just super British, yeah. Like, quite upper class kind of British. Definitely. Yo, mate, what do you think of Northern Irish people? What, just in general? Well, they're great. Oh, do you mean their accent? I like Northern Ireland as an accent. Like, I can only say a few words. They're like roind and doin and poind, like that. There, so you are. It's quite hard, Northern Ireland, isn't it? And when I do Southern Ireland, I sound like a little pixie. And that wasn't Irish at all. I love Irish people, though. Got quite a lot of Irish people I went to drama school with who were just top banter. I hate the word banter, really. Good crack, as you say in Ireland. Great people, yeah. Always up for a laugh is what I found with Irish people. Didn't take themselves too seriously. Always up for a good time. Kudos for trying the accent, mate. Thank you. It wasn't great. I'm sure, you've got it nailed. But yeah, no, I've never been to Ireland. Would love to check out Ireland. It's supposed to be an awesome country. But Dublin's apparently super expensive, though, isn't it? It's like £9 a pint or something like that. Don't know if that's the right place for me. Got anywhere that's £2 a pint? I'm there. Although I don't even drink pints, I don't know why I'm saying that. James, you got such a ridiculous, well, not ridiculous, but like ridiculously interesting. Don't be ridiculous. Ridiculously interesting heritage. Jamaican. What was it? Jamaican, and it was something else, wasn't it? So your grandmum's Jamaican patois. What else was it, James? So one of your mum or your dad was Jamaican, the other one was something else. So it was Italian, was it? I think it was Italian, maybe. Such like an incredibly like interesting casting site, man. Like super niche. Gives you a really cool look though. So you've got to capitalise on that. Absolutely. Make sure casting directors know this. Don't let them just guess at what you are. Think, oh, he's this or he's that. Tell them what you are, James. In all your correspondence and stuff, because it's really Italian. I got it right. Boom. I think it's wicked, man. Honestly, definitely, you've got a lot of versatility in your casting range with that kind of heritage there. There's a million of me. There's like Caucasian guys with brown hair. You're the only Jamaican Italian that I've ever met or heard of in my life, which is great, man. So there we go. Interesting. We'll call it a day, guys. But yeah, ultimately tonight we were looking at the people who you surround yourself with. You really are. I completely agree with Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people you're hanging out the most with. Okay, and that is in every way. So that's in terms of your career aspirations, the way you run your life, your body. Composition. If you're hanging out with 5 unhealthy people, you'll become the 6. Your average income, you're hanging out with 5 broke people, you'll become the 6. Whether your state of being, whether it's positive or negative, hanging out with 5 negative people, you're going to become the 6. Hanging out with 5 positive, inspired people, you're going to become the 6. Choice is yours. So remember, your A friends, your B friends, your C friends. Seek out more A friends if you can. Be careful of your B friends. say see you later to your C friends. You don't have to tell them that. You don't have to be nasty about it. You don't have to cut them out of your life. Just be conscious of how much time you're spending with them. That's the key to this. Just be conscious of that. I'm going to be back on Monday for some motivation and mind hacks. I'm going to be releasing the audio of this as a podcast tomorrow. So for those listening on the audio experience, and it already is tomorrow, hi. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to be releasing some more exclusive audio on the Acts on This TV audio experience as well. A lot of people have subscribed. Andy says, cheers, I'll catch you on the podcast. Awesome. So yeah, Andy, make sure everybody's subscribed to the Acts on This TV audio experience. I saw a surge in subscriptions the other day when I mentioned this. Go to iTunes and just search for Acts on This TV. All one word, no spaces. You'll find it like that. Completely free. I put out like 3 or 4 pieces of audio a week that you can listen to in the gym, in the car, walking the dog, whatever. I get emails from people all the time saying how much it's helping them. Please don't write it off. Go and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more and more audio that you won't find as video or anywhere else. I rip the audio off these videos to put on the audio experience so people can catch up. But I'm going to be doing exclusive stuff on there you won't find anywhere else. If you don't have an Apple device, so you can't use iTunes, or you don't want to do it on your PC, go to Stitcher.com. Stitcher.com. If you've got an Android, you can subscribe for free on there, or just on even on your iPhone, you can still use Stitcher. So yeah, please do that. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well to the Acts on This TV channel, and that's youtube.com/Acts on This TV. Going to be doing loads of video. Little clue there. Brand new little tripod. Look at this, right? Have a guess how much this was. I couldn't believe it, right? It's pretty heavy duty. But it's made by a company called Joby, and it's called a Gorilla Pod. So what you can do is you can actually like wrap the legs around stuff, and these all bend. So if you want to wrap it around a tree or whatever when you're out and about, put your camera on top of it. How much would you think that was? I mean, I had to buy it because I really need it, but I can't believe. I thought it was going to be bigger when I got it. Was that it? Give me some guesses of what you think that was. 15 quid, says Steve. It's a lot more, Steve. I couldn't believe it. I mean, as I say, I needed it. Essential piece of kit. $49.99 says Fanny. 300 says Dawn. Bit less, but more Fanny. I'll put you out of misery. £70 says Sarah. It was 140 quid. Literally, I couldn't believe it. Kelly saying $800. Well, that'd be about 500 quid, Kelly. So that's a bit much. But people saying 25 quid, $300. Yeah, no, £140. So that's probably about getting off for $200, Kelly. It's bloody expensive, isn't it? Honestly, creating decent video is just dear. But yeah, I'm going to be doing loads and loads of exclusive video over on YouTube. I'm effectively going to be putting out video almost every single day from a couple of weeks. For just one, Wendy, yeah. You don't get more than one. Andy said I was robbed. Definitely was robbed, Andy. But yeah, I'm going to be putting out almost daily video. So I want people to subscribe on YouTube so that every time I put a video out, if you hit the little bell on YouTube once you've subscribed, you'll set up notifications effectively. Every time I put a video out, you'll get an email to go, Ross has just uploaded a video. Because I want people to watch every day. It's going to be interesting, like whether it works or not. I hope it will. I'm going to enjoy doing it. But yeah, please subscribe on YouTube as well. To get there, just search for Acts on This TV on YouTube, all one word, or go to youtube.com/Acts on This TV, and you can subscribe. Got it from Amazon, Mel and Alex. They're asking where I got it from. Yeah, I got it from Amazon. Oh, Andrew was close, 150 quid. Just 10 quid off, Andrew. But yeah, it's pretty dear. I mean, mine quite a lot of gear to do this. I'm one of these people, I'm like, if you're going to do it properly. You know, otherwise you give yourself excuses for not going all in. It's like, well, if I didn't spend anything or invest in anything, I'd just be like, oh, well, not going to bother. Whereas, yeah, I'm going to go all in on this and hopefully create, some interesting content for you guys to follow. So awesome. Well, really appreciate you being here. If you're just joining now, I'm afraid you've missed the book club. But as soon as I end this, it will be available on the replay on Twitter and on Facebook. So with that, I'm going to set up Facebook so I can end the broadcast. Anyone got any last questions whilst I'm doing this? On Facebook, unfortunately, I won't be able to see you now. I don't think I won't be able to see the comments because I'm going into the place in Facebook where I have to end the broadcast. But if you've got anything to say on Periscope, I'm still watching here while I set this up. Or if you're on Twitter. You know what? I forgot to ask people to share this as well. Before we end, just give it a little retweet if you're on Twitter, because the replay will still go out to people then. Or if you're on Facebook, give it a share it to your feed, share it to your friends or any acting groups you might be in where it might help people. The more people we can get eyes on, the more impact we can make. Thank you, Wendy. I'm glad you're enjoying Acts on This. Wendy got your email. Wendy won a 12-month subscription to Acts on This, a premium subscription to actsonthis.tv. She's been binge listening and watching all the interviews, having a great time. Glad you're enjoying it, Wendy. Let's have a look. And looks like everybody's all good. Thank you, Carly, for sharing on Twitter. Give it a little retweet. And I will. Thank you, Fanny, for retweeting on Twitter as well. Anybody else who's doing that now as well, really appreciate that. So I'll see you around, guys. Come and chat in the Facebook group if you want anything. Facebook.com/groups/ActsOnThisTV. I'll be back on Monday. I'll see you on the Acts on This TV audio experience on iTunes and Stitcher. Until then, have an amazing rest of your week. Bye for now, and thank you, Peter. Already shared. Having a great week. Good luck with your casting. Cheers, Peter. We'll keep you posted, mate. All right, bye for now, everybody. I'll say it again. Bye bye. Bye for now.